Welcome to Quickcasters. You know, uh, we usually like to explore different topics, but today we're going to do something completely new. We're going to talk about a TV series, and it's all because
Ooh,
we love the Penguin.
it's so good.
So if you love the Penguin as much as we do, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's just jump right in.
It's really taken everybody by surprise. I think the Penguin, the attention it's getting is usually something that's reserved for those big blockbuster shows, like The Last of Us.
Yeah.
But the numbers for the Penguin have been incredible. They just keep climbing, and the critical acclaim has also been through the roof.
I have to admit, I did not see this coming. I was like, the Penguin.
Yeah.
Really? But I mean,
Right.
it's phenomenal. It's not just the production, the writing, which are both amazing. But Oswald Cobblepot, that guy is such a survivor. Remember what happened when the Maroney and Falcone families tried to muscle in on the Sullivan's drug operation
Oh,
by
yeah.
cutting off their dealers' fingers?
Brutal.
So brutal.
Yeah.
But Oswald's response, genius.
Genius.
He floods Gotham with free drugs, creates this instant demand that forced all the dealers right back to him.
He turns chaos into opportunity.
Yes.
Which is a classic Penguin move, but it's not all just cunning with him. There's more to him than that.
Yeah, he's not just a schemer.
Yeah.
He's really trying to build something. He wants to be like a provider and a protector.
Yeah.
Just like, his idol Rex Calabrese.
Yeah.
He really wants to take care of his people, even if it means, operating in this underworld.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes him so fascinating to watch. He's not just a villain, he's a complex character. He's driven by loyalty, by ambition, just like any of the so-called good guys. And the show really does a great job of blurring the lines between right and wrong. Even within the mob, there's like a code of honor that they live by.
Right.
Think about the scene where all the families are just sitting around sharing a beer.
Mhm.
It's not a warm family gathering, but there is a sense of camaraderie, even respect. And it makes you wonder, who are the real villains here?
It really does. Yeah. And speaking of complicated relationships, what about Oswald and Victor?
Oh, yeah.
That's a dynamic.
That's a very layered
It's layered. Yeah.
dynamic. It's almost like a father-son dynamic that we see there. With Oswald kind of wanting to mentor Victor in the same way that Rex mentored him, he sees potential in Victor and wants to guide him, protect him. And you see that, like when he entrusts Victor with taking care of his mother,
Right.
or when he gives him the night off after, his first kill. It's like a twisted kind of paternal instinct, but it's there.
You make a really interesting point about his mother, because the relationship seems so strained, even toxic at times. Do you think there's any genuine affection there?
I think there's a lot of history there, definitely a lot of baggage between them. You can see the guilt that the mother carries, and even Oswald, he shows vulnerability in certain moments,
Yeah.
like when he helps her to bathe.
Yeah.
So, these are the moments that remind us that even, the most hardened criminals still have a human side.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes the Penguin really stand out. It humanizes Oswald, but without trying to make him into some kind of hero. It's a stark contrast to movies like Venom or Joker, where the villains are almost, romanticized as anti-heroes.
Yeah, I agree. And I think they do a great job of not shying away from Oswald's darkness. And they use Sofia Falcone brilliantly to constantly remind us of that.
Yeah.
She's like this dark mirror reflecting his ruthlessness and their rivalry.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's electrifying. They're both vying for power,
Yeah.
but their motives are so complex and rooted in their pasts.
Right. Speaking of Sophia, her backstory is just as compelling as Oswald's. Can you give our viewers just a quick rundown of what shaped her into this, formidable woman that we see?
Oh, yeah. Well, Sophia grew up, she was very sheltered, very privileged, completely unaware of the darkness that her father's empire was built on, and then to discover the truth about his crimes. And to find out that he was responsible for her mother's death, it completely shattered her world. So that trauma really explains her drive for vengeance, her willingness to play dirty.
It's really heartbreaking when you think about it. And you can see the parallels between her story and Oswald's. They're both products of Gotham's corruption, shaped by the darkness of the city. It's like the city itself is a character,
Absolutely.
driving everyone towards this tragic fate.
Yeah, there's this constant tension in the show between, this desire for power and the destructive force of the city itself.
Yeah.
And you see it even in the conversation between Eve and Sophia, where they both acknowledge the moral complexities of their lives. Like you said, it's a world where even trying to do the right thing can lead you down this dark path.
Yeah, and with only 2 episodes left, the tension is unbearable. Any predictions for how it's all going to end?
Ooh, well, right now, Oswald's in a tight spot,
Right.
captured by Maroni.
Right.
But honestly, I don't think Maroni's going to be around for too much longer. I think Oswald has gained a lot of support from the other families, and I think they might actually intervene, which would leave Maroni very vulnerable.
That makes sense, especially with Sofia on the warpath. What do you think she's planning?
Oh, I think she's going to make this very personal. She's going to target Victor and Oswald's mother, maybe even use that bone saw that she acquired. It's going to be brutal, and I think it's all building towards this final bloody confrontation between her and Oswald.
Especially for Victor and Oswald's mother. Do you think they'll survive this series?
I honestly don't think Oswald's mother's going to make it. As for Victor, it's hard to say. He's crossed the line into violence, and there's a real chance that he will kill again. And maybe even turn on Oswald if Sofia gets to him.
I'm really hoping that Victor finds some redemption. But this show does not pull any punches. So do you think that, we'll see Oswald fully embrace the penguin persona by the finale? Like the umbrella and the waddle, the whole shebang.
I mean, it just seems inevitable, right? I mean, the show is called The Penguin.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see him lose whatever humanity he's clinging to, become that ruthless mob boss from the comics. It's really setting him up to be a truly formidable villain capable of, even taking on Batman someday.
That's a terrifying
Oh,
thought. But it would be such an epic showdown. Okay, viewers, tell us in the comments what you think will happen in these final episodes, and hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss our analysis. We'll be back with part 2 in just a moment.
We're back with Quick Casters, and we're diving even deeper into The Penguin. Just a quick reminder, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our new content.
Okay, so one of the things that I think really sets this show apart is how Gotham City almost feels like a character itself. This living, breathing entity that just shapes everyone and everything that it touches.
Oh, for sure. The city's Gothic architecture, that perpetual rain, the dark alleys, the flickering streetlights, it creates this atmosphere of unease,
Yeah.
This sense that danger could be lurking around every corner. It's like a character from a film noir stepped right onto the screen.
And it's not just the visuals, the writing also has that gritty noir feel to it.
Totally.
I mean, the dialogue is sharp, the pacing is deliberate, there's this underlying tension that just never lets up.
Yeah.
It's like reading a hard-boiled detective novel.
It really is, and the writers have done an incredible job of creating this immersive world that feels both familiar and utterly unique. And of course, we can't forget about the performances. Especially Colin Farrell as Oswald.
Oh my gosh.
He's completely transformed himself. He disappears into that role.
He is phenomenal. You completely forget that you're watching Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
He embodies Oswald's physicality, his voice, his mannerisms. You can see the wheels turning in his head, as he's plotting and scheming. But then there's also this vulnerability there that makes him surprisingly relatable.
It's really a masterclass in acting, and Kristen Milioti as Sophia, I mean, she's equally impressive.
Yes.
She brings this chilling calmness to Sophia's ruthlessness.
All right.
It's like she's always in control, even when things are spiraling around her.
I love how the show doesn't even try to, soften her edges.
Yeah.
She's a villain. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But you understand how she got there.
Right.
All the trauma she's experienced, the betrayal she's endured, it's shaped her into this hardened, unforgiving woman.
It all goes back to her past, and I think, the show really explores this idea that even villains have their reasons. They have their own twisted sense of justice. Like, Sophia's not just out for revenge. She's trying to reclaim what she believes is rightfully hers, to rebuild her family's legacy. And in her mind, she is the hero of her own story.
Absolutely. And that's what makes this whole power struggle between her and Oswald so compelling. They both have their own motivations, their own justifications for their actions. It's this clash of ambitions. It's a battle for the soul of Gotham's underworld.
And it's a battle that is far from over. We have 2 episodes left, and I am on the edge of my seat. I don't know who's going to come out on top, if anyone. I mean, the show keeps us guessing, throwing these twists and turns that you just don't see coming.
Oh, like that shocker in the latest episode. Not going to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, but let's just say it blew my mind. I mean, the writers, they are masters of suspense, and they are not afraid to shake things up.
They definitely know how to keep us engaged, that's for sure. And it's not just about the plot twists, it's the character development, the intricate relationships, the moral dilemmas that each character faces. The show has layers upon layers, and it's so much fun to peel them back and explore the depths of this world.
Right, it's more than just a superhero show. It's a character-driven drama that really explores these themes of power, ambition, betrayal, and the corrupting influence of revenge.
And it does all of that with this incredible visual flair. The cinematography is stunning, the production design is impeccable, and the music, I mean, it perfectly sets the mood. Every frame is like a work of art,
Yeah.
drawing you deeper into this dark and gritty world.
It's like watching a graphic novel come to life. And the attention to detail is remarkable. From the costumes to the sets, everything feels authentic, lived in.
Yeah, they've created this world that feels both familiar and completely unique. It's a Gotham City unlike any we've seen before, and it is utterly captivating. Okay, before we jump into part 3, I want to hear from you. Hit us up with your theories. What is going to happen in the finale? Leave your comments below, like this video, and subscribe to Quickcasters for more deep dives into all sorts of fascinating topics. We'll be back after the break.
And we are back for the final part of our look at the Penguin. We've talked about Oswald's transformation, Sofia's just ruthlessness, and the city's hold on both of them. But what makes the Penguin really groundbreaking is how it kind of flips the script on the whole villain origin story.
Yeah, we're not just watching Oswald become the Penguin. We're witnessing the birth of this, complex, multifaceted character who is both villainous and, in his own way, sympathetic. We see the events that shaped him, the traumas, the betrayals, but we also get these glimpses of, the person he might have been under different circumstances.
It's not like a black and white morality tale or anything. It's a story about the gray areas of human nature, the choices that we make when we're pushed to the edge. And it's not just Oswald. Sofia's journey is equally tragic. You understand her rage, her need for vengeance, even as you kind of recoil from her actions.
Yeah, exactly. The show doesn't shy away from the darkness, but it also reveals the motivations behind it. Sophia is not just this power-hungry monster. She's driven by a deep sense of loss and a desire to reclaim what she believes was stolen from her. She operates by this twisted code of ethics, but it's a code nonetheless.
Right, and that's what makes the Penguin so thought-provoking,
Yeah.
It forces us to confront these uncomfortable truths about ourselves, about the choices we might make. When we're faced with unimaginable pain or betrayal, it blurs the lines between hero and villain, reminding us that even the worst of us are capable of moments of humanity.
And I think Gotham itself plays this really crucial role in this whole moral tug of war.
Yeah.
It's a city that is steeped in corruption where power is everything, and the lines between right and wrong are constantly shifting. It's almost like a character itself,
Yeah.
pulling everyone into its web of deceit and violence.
Yeah. There's this sense that no one can truly escape Gotham's grip, that its darkness is just contagious. But even in this bleak landscape, there are these glimmers of hope, these moments of human connection that remind us that even in the darkest of places, there's still a spark of humanity.
Absolutely, and I think that's what makes the ending so impactful. I'm not going to give anything away, but let's just say it leaves you with this sense of both despair and hope. It's a fitting conclusion to a story that's both tragic and ultimately life-affirming.
So the big question is, will there be a season 2?
Well, nothing's been officially announced yet, but the show's popularity and the critical acclaim, I think it makes it seem highly likely. There are so many threads left hanging, so many characters whose stories are just beginning to unfold.
Imagine a second season that delves even deeper into Oswald's rise to power as he consolidates control over Gotham's underworld. Or maybe we see Sophia regroup and launch this counterattack, fueled by her thirst for vengeance. And let's not forget about Victor, who is just teetering on the brink, capable of great good or, terrible evil.
And looming over it all is the shadow of Batman. We haven't seen him yet, but his presence is felt throughout the series. Penguin's rise seems almost inevitable, setting the stage for a future confrontation with the Dark Knight that will just shake Gotham to its core.
That's a thrilling prospect. But even if we don't get that epic showdown in season 2, the Penguin has already achieved something truly remarkable. It's elevated the superhero genre. It's proving that these stories can be more than just battles between good and evil. They can be complex character studies that explore, the darkest corners of human nature and leave us questioning everything we thought we knew about heroes and villains.
It's a show that really stays with you long after the credits roll. It prompts reflection and discussion. The Penguin is truly a triumph of storytelling, a must-watch for fans of the genre and anyone who appreciates, thought-provoking and visually stunning television.
We could not have said it better ourselves. So that wraps up our look at the Penguin. We hope you enjoyed this special episode of Quickcasters. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next adventure into the world of fascinating topics. Thanks for watching, and keep casting.